All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to finish up TEKS 2I today. We're on page 22 of our STAAR booklet. And we're going to read number 51 here. So let's just read number 51 out loud.
A customer at a store paid $64 for 3 large candles and 4 small candles. At the same store, a second customer paid $4 more than the first customer for 1 large candle and 8 small candles. The price of each large candle is the same, and the price for each small candle is the same. Which system of equations can be used to find the price in dollars of each large candle X and each small candle Y?
Excellent reading. Okay, wonderful. So the second step in the problem-solving process after we do a good first reading is to do a good second reading where we mark up while we read. So, Caitlin, thank you very much, Evan. Caitlin, will you please choose one of these colors here? Lime green. Is that this one here? Okay. So we're going to use lime green to highlight everywhere we see large candles. So I've got 3 large candles. I've got 1 large candle. Here's the word large candle. Here's large candle. I see it goes with the letter X. Okay. And Charlie, what color would you like for the small candle?
Orange.
Orange. I like that. So everywhere we see small candle with the numbers, we'll highlight 4 small candles and then 8 small candles. Something over here is small candle, I see, and then small candle goes with Y. So now that we know that large candle goes with X, everywhere we see the words large candles, let's put an X. We're just marking this up here. And everywhere we see the word small candle, we put a Y. Y, Y. Okay. This is an X. This is a Y. Okay, the final thing we need to do is highlight in yellow the totals. So what was the total at the checkout register for the first customer? 64. Now, guys, the second customer paid $4 more than the first customer. So how much did he pay?
68.
So let's create 68 and then we'll highlight it. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the template for every single system. If you see the word system, see this word system right here? This is the template that you draw. Line box plus line box equals line. Line box plus line box equals line. And the way these usually work is you put X here and below it, X, X, and then Y, Y. This last area over here, these are the totals. These are the checkout totals. So our first checkout total was 64. Our second checkout total was 68. So obviously, you see what I'm getting at here? This is the first customer, and this is the second customer. What number goes next to the X for the first customer? 3. What number goes next to the Y?
4.
For the second customer, which number goes next to the X? And the Y?
8.
Guess what? You're done. What's the answer? C. Okay. TEKS 2I, ladies and gentlemen, is about writing equations. So we're writing systems, we're not solving systems. So that's all you had to do is write it. Very good. Let's move on to this next question here. I know that, but we haven't recorded it. So let me go through this again. If you can, just please watch and pay attention. The table of ordered pairs represents some points on the graphs of lines Q and V. So what we do when we see tables is we think stat edit, stat calc 4. Okay, we assign L1 and L2 to X and Y respectively. And then we do stat edit stat calc 4. And what we came up with when we did this before is we had line Q. And what was the slope intercept form equation that we found? Y equals 3x plus 27. And for line V, what do we come up with? Negative 0.5x plus 8 or negative 1/2 x plus 8, same thing, okay? Now this is very important. If you didn't write this down the last time, I want you to write it down this time. I want you to write this down, and this is something that we're going to write many, many times. There's actually going to be a little assignment where you get 100 if you just write it like 20 times. I want you to write everything I write right now. Even if you've already written it, find a blank space and write it again because the purpose is to memorize it. Ready? Standard form tricks. Okay, so remember standard form is AX plus BY equals C. Now notice that all of our equations over here are in AX plus BY equals C form. So that's why these tricks are important. So there were little tricks we learned to find the x-intercept, the y-intercept, and the slope. And we're going to write these tricks out. The x-intercept is C over A. The y-intercept is C over B. And the slope is negative A over B. Okay, someone remind me what was the correct answer on this one? Wrong. And I'll show you. I think we failed to check something in our work on Friday. So let me walk you through the process because I remember that happened in this class. So here's what we failed to do. All right, so let's look at G for a minute, okay? Off to the side, I want you to write A, B, C. And then right beneath it, write A, B, C. And what we're looking at here, guys, are these numbers right here. And it would help if I would go write a 1 where there's no number, okay? So let's fill this out. For my first row, what number should I write? 3? Negative 1, or just the numbers, okay? And then negative 27. And down here for the second line, 1, 2, 16. Okay? So, remember, the y-intercept, when you do it in your calculator, you figured out the y-intercept. These are the two y-intercepts, 27 and 8. And our formula for y-intercept is C over B. C over B. So we're going to compute this 2 times. So my C value is negative 27. What's my B value? Negative 1. Over here for this one, what's my C value? What's my B value? Okay. So negative 27 divided by negative 1 is just 27. 16 divided by 2 is 8. We found that this one was right, but if we had done 8 divided by 2, we would have gotten 4, so we didn't actually finish the problem. We ran out of time anyway, so this is an amazing trick, okay? It's an amazing trick. Now, the key is remembering to do that, okay? But we'll practice it enough that you'll remember it. Yes, sir. We found the y-intercept. So when we do stat edit stat calc 4, the 2 pieces of information it gives us are the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, slope and y-intercept. Now look, Leo, For this first one, you could compute the slope. Remember, the slope is negative a over b. So that would be negative 3 divided by negative 1, which is just 3. Okay? And that matches this. So you could have even used the slopes to figure out your answers. All right? So, guys, this right here, I don't ask you to memorize much. I'm not a big memorizer guy. But this right here needs to be committed to memory. So we're going to write it over and over again. Okay, good. Number 24, done. Moving on. Number 37. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're currently on page 23 on number 37 from the 2018 test. I'll read. There are 15 plates in a kitchen cabinet. The diameter of each plate is either 7 inches or 12 inches. The diameter of all 15 plates combined is 140 inches. Which system of equations can be used to find the number of 7-inch plates X and the number of 12-inch plates Y that are in the cabinet? Let me start. Before we start writing stuff and doing things, let me explain that this problem requires us to think about counting two different things. So in this room, there are some number of students split up into boys and girls. So let's actually do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 students. Okay? So if X is boys and Y is girls, then X plus Y equals 21. You feel me on that? You understand? So let's go back to this problem. So we have X for the 7-inch plate and Y for the 12-inch plate. So how many total plates are there? Yes, so this was the leap of logic. X plus Y equals 15. Now this is still following the line box situation. So it's line box plus line box equals line. The only reason I did it this way was because it's hard to know that these are ones. Okay, it's just saying X plus Y, small plates and large plate, or 7-inch plates and 12-inch plates. There are 15 total plates. Just like there's 21 total people in this room split up into X boys and Y girls. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the second row is much easier to do. So line box plus line box equals line. We already know this is going to be X and Y. What's the total that goes here? 140. And what goes in front of the X? 7. What goes in front of the Y? That's it. You can find the answer now. X plus Y equals 15. 7X plus 12Y equals 140. The answer is Western Switzerland. Okay, moving on to number 2 from the 2017 test. I'm going to work this one with you, but let's have a new reader come on over. Come on down, new reader. So we're just gonna read number 2.
A drummer and a guitarist each wrote songs for their band. The guitarist wrote 8 fewer than twice the number of songs that the drummer wrote. They wrote a total of 46 songs. Which system of equation models the situation if the drummer wrote D songs and the guitarist wrote G songs?
Thank you for that extremely well-read reading. Yes, sir. We are going to get to that in a second. That's actually going to be the harder part of this problem. But just like the boys and girls and the small plates and the large plates, guys, we've got drummer and guitarist. How many songs did they write together? So our first line here is X. Whoa. It's they want D and G. D plus G equals 46. Okay, so that's the first thing we need to write down. So let's go through and cross out anything where that isn't the case. Okay, so you see these look good. Now the next part, this is what Leo was getting at. Let me break this down for you. 8 fewer than means minus 8. Twice drummer. That's 2D. So what I can write is, it says here, the guitarist wrote. So I'll say G for guitarist equals. And now I can put -8 plus 2D. Do you see that the equivalent way of writing this would, if I just flip-flop these guys right here, that's allowed in math. I could say G equals 2D minus 8. Okay. Do we find an answer choice where G equals 2D minus 8? Yeah, F. Now notice that J would have been wrong even if you'd left it in this form, because it's saying 8's, yeah, the signs are wrong. So it's not J, but that's one where you would really have to pay careful attention. Remember, 8 fewer than means minus 8. It doesn't mean 8 minus. It's a hard problem. Okay, so it's F. Do you all understand? Fantastic. Okay, I believe this is the last problem from the 2I section. So here's what we need to do. I need Caitlin to, well, Caitlin, did you already choose a color today? Okay, let me have Angie choose a color. Purple, like this? Okay, so purple's going to be K1. So K1 is purple. And then let me have Emily. Can you choose a color? Blue? Let's do K2 as blue. Okay. Now, we're going to focus on 2 things on this graph. Ready? We're going to focus on the y-intercept for K2. What's the y-intercept for K2? Okay. So that's going to be super important. And what's the y-intercept for K1? Okay, now you're not going to like me right now. You're going to be very angry with me right now. But on the STAAR test, you will say, "Thank you, sir." So here's what we're going to write. Ready? Standard. You're going to write it out again. Form. Please write it out again, even if you don't want to. Okay, tricks. Remember, when Leo decided he was going to become a quarterback, he didn't throw the ball once and say, well, now I've done that. He had to throw the ball several thousand times, I'm guessing. Right, sir? So we're going to write this whole thing again. So what is standard form? AX plus BY equals C. Now remember, we have 3 tricks. We have the X-int trick. We have the Y-int trick. And we got the slope trick. What is X-int? C divided by A. What's the Y-int? C divided by B. What's the slope? Negative A over B. Now, what do we know about this problem? Do we know the slopes? No. Do we know the x-intercepts? Not really, because they're crossing at weird places. But we do know the y-intercept. So this is what we're going to calculate here. We're going to use this trick. Okay, we're going to try to find -4 and -2 hiding in our answer choices. So if I had no idea what to do, I would just start with letter F. I'd say, well, let's see, A, B, C, A, B, C. A and C. One thing that you can do to save yourself a lot of heartache is to go in here and everywhere you see just a negative number or just some letter all by itself, go ahead and put a 1 in front of it. 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 Okay. This will really help you. That way you never make the mistake. So now A equals 3, then -1, then dos. In the second row here, I got 4, 9, and 36. Now remember, we're doing C over B. So what is C over B here? Yeah, so my C over B here is 2 over -1. And what does that equal? -2. And then for the second one, what have I got? Somehow that 6 didn't get caught there. Yeah, it's 36. I wrote it, but it didn't write it. Okay, so then it's 36 over 9. What does that equal? 4. So my two y-intercepts on this are -2 and 4. Let's go compare those to my two y-intercepts over here. -2 and 4. Guess what? We got lucky. That's the answer, okay? So they match. As long as they match, you're good to go. F. Guys, I can't tell you how important those tricks are. Let me show you. Well, let me tell you, because I want you to have the time to finish your homework today. Let me just tell you what I had my kids doing last year. You ready for this? I had my kids take each one of these 8 equations that are written out here and solve them for y. Then they put each pair into the calculator to see where they crossed, and then they would check the y-intercepts and the x-intercepts. This problem took 10 minutes last year, this exact problem. This year, it's very fast, but it relies upon us remembering the trick. If you remember the trick, you're good to go. If you don't remember the trick, you know. Okay, at this time, I'm going to stop the recording because look at this. We're done with TEK 2. Congratulations. We're going to stop the recording here, and we will switch to doing our CUDA mastery test for TEK 2i. So if you would please log into your Chromebook. You may use your notes. You may use a calculator. You may use Desmos. You may use anything that I just said to complete the mastery test for TEKS 2i on CUDA. So we'll stop the recording right here. Thank you so much for listening. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment.